Here's something that happened in my waiting room about 3 weeks ago, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it since. A woman came in with her 7-year-old golden retriever, Biscuit. She was worried about his weight, a perfectly normal visit, and while we were talking, Biscuit kept licking her hand, slowly, methodically, right along her wrist, over and over. She smiled, looked at me, and said, "He always does this. He's just a lovey dog." I looked at where he was licking. I looked at how he was licking, and I said very gently, "Has Biscuit seemed more anxious lately? Does he do this mostly in the evenings?" Her face went still. "How did you know that?" I knew because Biscuit wasn't telling her he loved her. He was telling her he was scared. And the difference between those two things, the difference between a dog saying, "I adore you," and a dog saying, "I'm not okay," looks almost identical to the human eye. So today we are going to fix that. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. McKenna. I've been a veterinarian for over 20 years, and in that time, I've had thousands of conversations with dog owners about licking. It is one of the most common things people ask me about, and it is also, without question, one of the most misunderstood. Most of us think we know what it means, but I'm going to show you today that your dog's licking is not one message. It is an entire vocabulary, and once you learn to read it, you will never look at your dog the same way again. Let me start with what almost every dog owner believes. When your dog licks you, it means they love you. And to be completely fair, sometimes that's exactly right. Dog licking absolutely can be an expression of warmth and attachment. I'm not here to take that away from you. But here's where it gets more complicated. That belief, licking equals love, is so automatic, so deeply wired into us, that it becomes the only lens we look through. And when that's the only thing we see, we start missing the other things your dog is trying to say. I think about it like this. Imagine you move to a new country. You learn one phrase in the local language, hello. And every time you hear it, you respond with a wave and a smile. That works fine for a while. But that same language has words for "I'm hungry" and "something is wrong" and "please help me." And because you only know one word, every single message sounds the same to you. That's what's happening when we interpret every lick as affection. Your dog is speaking in a language that has no alphabet. They can't hand you a note. They can't leave a voicemail. What they have is their body, their posture, their eyes, their tail, and yes, their tongue. And every one of those tools carries meaning that shifts depending on context. The problem isn't that you got it wrong. You got it partially right. The problem is that partial understanding can cause us to miss signals our dogs have been sending for years. I've seen it happen in my clinic more times than I can count. An owner comes in because something is clearly off with their dog. And when I ask about behavioral changes, they think back and say, "Well, he has been licking me more than usual. I thought he was just being sweet." Sometimes he was being sweet, and sometimes he was trying as hard as he possibly could to tell you something you didn't know how to hear. To understand why dogs lick, we have to go back to where dogs came from. The domesticated dog shares a common ancestor with the wolf, and in wolf packs, licking is one of the most socially loaded behaviors in the entire repertoire. Wolf pups, when they are hungry, will lick the muzzle of an adult returning from a hunt. This is not random. This specific gesture triggers the adult to regurgitate partially digested food. The puppy is not being cute. The puppy is issuing a request in a language that evolution built over millions of years. That specific muzzle lick behavior has been documented in adult domestic dogs when they approach humans, particularly around the face, the chin, and the mouth. We no longer regurgitate food, obviously, but the signal is still there. Your dog licking your face when you get home from work isn't just an enthusiastic greeting. It's the same ancient gesture that wolf pups used to ask for care and closeness from the members of their group they trusted most. You are, in your dog's mind, the most important member of their pack, and their licking vocabulary was shaped by that relationship long before either of you was born. Now here's the part that gets really interesting. When a dog licks you, when you allow the contact and respond warmly, both of your brains release oxytocin, the same bonding hormone that fires between a human mother and her newborn, the same chemical that underlies trust, safety, and deep social connection in mammals. So when Biscuit licks his owner's hand, something real is happening biochemically. It's not just a behavior, it's a physiological event for both of them. But, and this is critical, that same action also occurs when dogs are anxious, when they are seeking to regulate their own stress, when they are performing what animal behaviorists call a displacement behavior, doing something repetitive and self-soothing because their nervous system needs to calm down. The licking feels the same to the owner in both cases, but in the dog, what's driving it is completely different. That is what we need to learn how to tell apart. I want to walk you through what I call the 5 dialects of dog licking. Where your dog licks, how they lick, and when they lick, each of those variables changes the meaning significantly. Think of it less like decoding a secret code and more like learning to read tone of voice. Same words, very different messages. Dialect 1, the welcome home face lick. You walk through the door, your dog launches themselves at you, tail spinning, whole body wiggling, and immediately goes for your face. Fast, enthusiastic, brief, then they stop and go sniff around you excitedly. This one is pure joy. This is your dog's version of a hug and a "you're finally here." The speed and the accompanying body language, loose, wiggly, tail up, are the giveaways. There's also a secondary function happening here that's less romantic and more fascinating. Your dog is conducting a rapid chemical scan. Your skin carries information from everywhere you've been, the coffee shop, the office, whoever you hugged earlier. To your dog's nose, your skin is a detailed report of your entire day. The licking helps them gather that data. You are not just being greeted, you are being read. Dialect 2, the slow, rhythmic hand or arm lick. This is the one that trips people up the most because it often looks the most affectionate. Your dog settles in beside you, takes your hand and just licks, slowly, steadily, sometimes for minutes at a time. Context is everything here. If your dog is relaxed, loose body, soft eyes, sprawled out, totally at ease, this is genuine grooming behavior. Your dog is treating you as a bonded social partner. In wolf packs, allo-grooming, mutual grooming between pack members, is a way of reinforcing attachment. Your dog is including you in that ritual. It is, in the truest sense, an act of love. But if your dog is tense, body held a little rigid, ears slightly back, a faint line of anxiety somewhere in the posture, that same slow, repetitive licking is a displacement behavior. They are self-soothing. The rhythmic motion releases mild endorphins and calms an overstimulated nervous system. This is what Biscuit was doing in my waiting room. His owner, without realizing it, was his anxiety anchor. She was his safe base, and he was using that repetitive contact to regulate himself in a stressful environment. Neither of those things is wrong, but they call for different responses. Dialect 3, the targeted lick, a specific spot repeatedly. This one is the one I want every dog owner to pay attention to carefully. If your dog returns again and again to a specific area of your body, the same wrist, the same ankle, the same knee, and you find yourself thinking, "That's odd, why does he always go for that exact spot?" Don't dismiss it. Dogs have been documented in clinical and research settings detecting biochemical changes in the human body, elevated blood sugar, abnormal cell activity, hormonal fluctuations, through olfaction and contact. There is a growing body of research on scent detection dogs trained to identify specific medical conditions. But what the research also suggests is that untrained dogs may spontaneously investigate areas of the body where something has changed, even when they have no training to do so. I want to be very careful here. I am not telling you that your dog is diagnosing you. I am telling you that if your dog is consistently drawn to one specific area of your body, it is worth paying attention to. Make note of it. Mention it to your doctor. Sometimes there is nothing to it, but occasionally, a dog's nose has noticed something worth checking. Dialect 4, the submissive chin lick. You're sitting across the room and your dog approaches, ducks their head slightly, and gives you a quick, tentative lick on the chin or the lower face. Then they look at you and back off. This is the purest descendant of the wolf pup muzzle lick behavior. Your dog is offering you a gesture of deference and connection. It's a way of saying, "I see you, I respect you, we're good. You'll see this most often after a mild tension moment. Maybe you are frustrated about something, or the house has been a little chaotic, or you and your dog had a brief conflict over a behavior. The chin lick is an olive branch. It's your dog checking in on the state of the relationship. The right response: soft voice, calm acknowledgement, and let them come to you. That's the conversation they're trying to have. Dialect 5, the compulsive lick, the one that worries me as a vet. This one has less to do with you and more to do with what's happening inside your dog. Compulsive licking, licking that is repetitive, that happens regardless of context, that your dog seems unable to stop, that escalates over time, or that happens in the middle of the night, is a behavioral and sometimes medical red flag. Dogs with generalized anxiety disorders often develop licking as a primary coping mechanism. It feels like relief to them, which reinforces the behavior, which makes it harder to stop without intervention. This is the dog that licks their own legs until the fur is thin, or the dog that licks the couch, the floor, or the same spot on the carpet over and over again. It can also be a sign of gastrointestinal discomfort. Research has identified a pattern called excessive licking of surfaces, or ELS, which is associated with nausea and GI issues in dogs. The licking is a response to internal discomfort, not external anxiety. And sometimes it's a pain response. Dogs will obsessively lick an area that hurts, even when the source of that pain isn't visible on the skin. If this sounds like your dog, please don't write it off as a quirk. This is your dog telling you something is wrong. Let me be direct with you for a moment, because this is the part where I want to make sure you walk away with the right information. Most dog licking is healthy. Most of it is social, communicative, and completely benign. You do not need to worry every time your dog gives you a quick lick. But there are specific patterns that tell me, as a vet, to look closer. Watch out for licking that is new or that has changed suddenly. A dog who never used to lick much and now can't stop, that shift means something has shifted. It may be a change in their environment, a change in their health, or a change in their emotional state. Any sudden behavioral change deserves attention. Watch out for licking paired with other anxious behaviors. Panting when they're not hot, pacing, inability to settle, whining, hiding, or a change in appetite alongside increased licking. These are a cluster that points toward anxiety or distress. Not a quirk, not a phase, a dog who needs help. Watch out for licking that breaks the skin. Whether your dog is licking themselves or licking a wound on you, prolonged wet contact introduces bacteria. Dogs' mouths carry their own bacterial populations. On healthy skin, a quick lick is not a concern. On a cut, a rash, or broken skin, it can introduce infection. This is especially important for anyone who is immunocompromised, elderly, or very young. And watch out for licking that happens when your dog is alone. If you come home to evidence of prolonged licking, worn fur patches, saliva-soaked spots on bedding, licked surfaces, your dog is not content in your absence. They are managing significant stress. This is worth addressing directly with a vet or a certified animal behaviorist. So what do you actually do with all of this? The first thing I want you to do is start noticing context. Before you automatically respond to licking with a pat and a smile, take 3 seconds. Where is your dog licking? What is the rest of their body doing? Is the licking fast or slow, brief or sustained? What happened in the 5 minutes before it started? You are not trying to overthink a simple moment. You are training yourself to be a better reader of your dog's communication. That is one of the most valuable things a dog owner can develop. The second thing is to respond to the context, not just the behavior. If your dog is licking you after a chaotic afternoon and their body looks tense, they are asking for calm. The right response is not to amp up the energy with excited play. Sit with them, speak quietly, let them settle. You are being their anchor, and being a good anchor means being still. If your dog licks you during a relaxed evening and their whole body is loose and soft, they are choosing to be close to you. That is a beautiful thing. Accept it. You can gently stroke them, talk to them quietly, be present. This is the bonding moment it appears to be. If your dog is giving you the tentative chin lick after a tense moment, respond with gentleness. A soft, "It's okay," and a calm hand extended toward them, not looming over them, just available, signals that the relationship is solid. They were asking, you answered. The third thing, if your dog's licking makes you uncomfortable, and some people genuinely do not enjoy being licked, you can teach them not to do it without damaging your relationship. Redirect them consistently to an alternative behavior. When they lick, calmly withdraw your hand, then ask for a sit and reward that instead. You are not punishing affection. You are teaching them the form of connection you prefer. A well-adjusted dog can learn that. I want to close the clinical side of this with one honest note. Dogs cannot tell you when something is wrong in a way that makes the human brain ring an alarm. What they can do is behave differently. And licking, because it is so tied to comfort seeking, often escalates when a dog is unwell, whether physically or emotionally. If your dog's licking has changed in character or frequency, if it is accompanied by any other behavioral shifts, if they seem to be seeking constant reassurance in a way they never did before, please don't wait. Make an appointment. Not because something is necessarily wrong, but because a 15-minute conversation with your vet is infinitely cheaper than 6 months of wondering. A lot of what I catch early in my clinic, anxiety disorders, early stage pain, GI issues, thyroid changes, I catch because an owner noticed a behavioral change and said something. The owners who say, "I figured it was nothing," are the ones I wish I'd seen sooner. Your dog's behavior is information. Take it seriously. Here's what I want you to take away from today. Your dog is not licking you randomly. They are not operating on autopilot. Every time they seek that contact with you, there is something underneath it, whether it's joy or anxiety or social bonding or a physical need they cannot articulate any other way. That is not a burden, that is a gift. Because once you understand the language, once you learn to tell the difference between "I'm so glad you're home" and "I'm not doing very well today," you become something more than your dog's owner. You become fluent in them. And that changes the relationship in a way that is hard to describe until you've experienced it. I think about Biscuit and his owner a lot. At the end of that visit, I explained what I thought was happening, that the evening licking corresponded with what they told me were his most anxious hours. And she sat quietly for a moment. Then she said, "All this time, I thought he was just happy, but he was asking me for help." She wasn't a bad owner. She was a devoted, attentive, deeply caring owner who just didn't have the translation yet. Now she does. And now, so do you. Let me leave you with a quick recap of the 5 dialects we covered today. The fast, full-body welcome lick, pure joy, and a full report of your day. The slow, rhythmic lick, either deep bonding or quiet anxiety, depending on the body language. The targeted, repeated lick. Your dog is drawn to something specific, and it is worth noting. The submissive chin lick, an olive branch, a check-in, a gesture of connection. And the compulsive, escalating lick, a signal that something needs your attention. The most important thing you can do is watch your dog, not just the behavior. The lick is only half the sentence. The other half is in their eyes, their body, and their breathing. Learn to read both halves and you'll never have to wonder what they're trying to say. If this video gave you even one new way to understand your dog, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Tell me, what does your dog's licking look like? Is it the happy greeting, the quiet lean, or one of the more puzzling patterns we talked about today? I read every comment and I genuinely enjoy hearing about your dogs. If this was helpful, please hit the like button. It helps other dog owners find this information when they need it. And if you'd like more honest, practical conversations about your dog's behavior and health, subscribe to the channel. New videos go up every week. Take good care of your dogs. They are doing their absolute best to take good care of you. I'm Dr. Sean McKenna. I'll see you next time.